What's going on, YouTube? You're in the building for the Monday night, 9 p.m. live with the Life Game Avengers of Current Culture. It's me. It's that living legend, Larry. How you feeling, my brother?
Man, I'm feeling like I'm ready to get into this.
Oh, boy.
I'm ready to get it in.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're supposed to be having some special guests that are going to come in and discuss the main topic we're covering tonight, which is the Coming to America movie review. We both seen it. We're supposed to be having B. Avery from Just My Reviews, and we're supposed to be having J Mo from the J Mo channel coming in to chime in how they felt about the Coming to America and give their hot takes on the movie. But for those of you wondering if that's all we're going to cover, no. There was a deleted scene from WandaVision that I would love to know how you guys feel about. We're going to talk about that.
Wait, did I miss that?
Yeah, man, I put it in the show notes in our Instagram chat.
Oh, man, how did I miss that?
Not only do we have that, but they have dropped another trailer for the Justice League Snyder Cut where we get a full screen view of Darkseid. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm not thrilled. As a matter of fact, I'm disappointed. I'm not happy at all. And last but not least, the NFL is going to be getting their first black NFL referee, female at that. So without further ado, Larry, we'll let the people fall in as they may. Shout out to my homie Copeland Studios B. What's up? Shout out to everybody else that's watching. I've got 20 people watching. Can I get 20 likes? I need those thumbs up. It helps people follow our content. And, if you're feeling real nasty, you can super chat a brother too so we can get your comment live written on the air.
Yeah, so man. Larry, at the very least, hit those thumbs up, because when a video has a lot of likes, when you have a live stream with a lot of activity on there, the algorithm picks that up and it starts to push it out to other people. So, we want more and more people to find the show, like the show, and to experience it.
Exactly. Follow us, people. And shouts out to 351 Cleveland, Mucella, Ida Hillard, DeAndre Lucas. I appreciate you all being here. And Larry, let's go ahead and show them a clip of what went on in Coming to America before we pick that thing apart. Here we go.
How you doing, King?
I'm getting it from everywhere. I have upset my family.
You must be strong.
And General Izzy would love nothing more than to take over Zamunda.
Raise it higher.
Ladies and gentlemen, I thought about whether I was going to be PC in my review, but shit, I thought about how I was going to couch this in a way so that it wouldn't upset my real brothers out there who, if it's black, is always good, and that's not always true. And I'll just do the very best I can to say it like this. If you are a 100% fan of everything Tyler Perry puts out, you probably was fine with this movie. You probably thought it was a good movie. But if you are someone who likes 20% of what you like Tyler Perry, support him as a person, but you probably only like 20% of his movies and the other 80% you can do without, then you didn't like this hot mess right here that Eddie Murphy put out. And before I give it to Larry, let me just say this. I did not come into this movie thinking it was going to be anything like the original, which was a trendsetter, a classic. It was ahead of its time. It was an era-setting movie. I didn't think that this was going to be anything like that because it had Tracy Morgan in it, and it also had, what's the girl for Leslie Jones? Is that her name, Larry?
Yeah.
Leslie Jones in it. And when I saw them two in it, I didn't think that it was going to be an iconic, epic movie. Okay, having said that, I did expect to have more laughs than what it had. The movie was more bad than it was good for me. And what was good for me was I did like seeing the reunion of all the stars that was in the previous one. But if you're going to do that, you have to give them a better script. Now, I told my wife jokingly, if I wanted a reunion show, I would have took my family on TV and broadcasted it, because that's basically what you did without having a without having a script to go with the movie. I thought a lot of this movie was contrived. It felt rushed, and a lot of the jokes did not land at home for me. I also was not a fan of the bastard child, the actor. He just didn't do anything for me. And of any character to be emotionally invested in, there was only one. Only one. And that was Eddie Murphy's oldest daughter, who was supposed to assume the throne, but had to go through the trials and tribulation of him finding a bastard son in order to get there. And so, ladies and gentlemen, I only can give the movie a 5.5. This was hot garbage. You expect more out of Eddie Murphy, Wesley Snipes, and all that crew that they brought back into this. And some of these cameos just felt like they just put a cameo in there just to say, fuck it, I got a cameo in there. Hold on a second. B. Avery, you done caught me knee deep in a tirade about Coming to America, my brother.
Really?
I'm knee deep. Ladies and gentlemen, this is my big homie B. Avery from the B. Avery Just My Opinion Reviews. His links is in the description. Larry's links is in the description. I'm almost done with my tirade, and I'm about to kick it to Larry, because Larry's going to break down something else. When I said some things was cliche and contrived, Larry is about to break down some things in his opinion of the review. So, Larry, now the floor is yours, my brother.
Yeah, I have to say that just right out the gate, I couldn't enjoy this movie because I cannot enjoy a movie where the premise of it is that someone gets raped, someone gets drugged and sexually assaulted, and that's supposed to somehow be funny. I just don't know how that is supposed to be funny. It doesn't work for me. And the idea of that, and they carry that on to the extreme level of offensiveness where it's like she rapes him and then later she becomes friends with his wife. I mean, and then the wife is up there boo-hooing because she left and saying, "Oh, I finally made a friend from back home, and now she's gone." I'm thinking to myself, I don't know too many dudes who, if their wife had been raped, if they're gonna go become homeboys with the dude that raped him, raped her. It doesn't make any sense. It was just so offensive and lazy and weak, and it was the same. It was, what it felt like? It felt like watching a comedian and an actor who was stuck back 30 years ago. Like Eddie Murphy watching this, it's like he hasn't grown. It's like he has not grown. He's stuck back in the same old era that he was in the 90s and early 2000s. And it's just like, come on, bro, move forward. And I saw all of that. It was just, I get tired of the same old thing with Leslie Jones playing the big, brawny, just dick hungry black chick. It's like, come on. I mean, that's what she's playing. It's so over the top and ridiculous. And Larry,
stop. Wait a minute. Larry, there's nothing wrong with women being dick hungry, Larry. There's nothing wrong with that.
No, when you're up there drugging men and raping them,
okay,
that's a problem. When you're up there, when they're presenting your character as the only way that you possibly could get a man is by drugging them and raping them, then that's a problem. I mean,
boy, now Larry, you hit a point that the same lady I was talking to at the gym said. She said, in no way in hell would her husband be able to fly the mother and the son that she didn't know about to the kingdom, and that chick go in the closet and get her clothes, wear her clothes and have them in. No way, no how, it doesn't happen.
I mean, she wouldn't be, there's just no way. I mean, the reality of it, forget all the clothes and all the other crap. It's like, this rapist bitch is not coming to my house, period. She raped you, there's no way she's coming. But the other part that was offensive, it's like, here it is, this dude was raped. This dude was drugged and forcibly raped, and his wife's reaction is that she's mad at him, thinking that he did something with someone and didn't tell her about it. And I'm thinking to myself, your dude was raped, and your response is you're mad at him?
Whoa!
And then you want to turn around and be drinking buddies with the rapist? Like, what the F is wrong with you?
Whoa. Ladies and gentlemen, they have started the super chatting. Shouts out to the brother E-Man, and also shouts out to my brother James Lawrence for getting his life game. I'm going to play y'all what we really wanted to have seen for a funny video in Coming to America. We really wanted to have seen something that would have gave us a little bit more of what we originally laughed at, but with a new spin, and we didn't get that. But here we go.
I'd like to give a big round of applause to my band, Sexual Chocolate. I believe the children are our future. Thank you. Teach them well and let them lead the way. Love of all inside of me. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Sexual Chocolate.
Damn, that boy can sing. You must be crazy. He good. You must be crazy.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was the original mic drop that we didn't get in this movie. And Larry, we're going to come back to you in a minute. I want to get my homie B. Avery in the building to speak on it a little bit. Now, B. Avery, I got to say this too. I feel like this movie was, as my Anglo-Saxon brethren would say, slapstick comedy. And slapstick comedy and black people usually don't go hand in hand. And what was up with Wesley Snipes' character, man? He was goofy as hell. Speak on it, my brother, B. Avery.
I don't know what was up with his character. I've heard other people talk about him and say he was the best thing in the movie. And that's fine. To me, he was one of the worst.
Yeah.
I just didn't find anything he said was funny. That even looked like R. Kelly on the bottom left, on the left side right there.
Oh my God!
It really does.
Oh my God! Let me put a different picture up here, there, man. How about that one?
There you go. But kind of just like Larry was saying, man, just from the very beginning, from the jump of this, it was just it just wasn't good. I'm borderline on calling it a mess, and I've never seen him act like that before, and it just wasn't for me. You know, all things are subjective, but it was just kind of forced comedy. But it wasn't comedy; it was just kind of forced, and it just didn't work. I know he talked about him having fun on set, and that's fine. I'm glad he did. I didn't have fun watching this. You know, just especially with this character. And overall, do you just want me to talk about Wesley Snipes, or
you can talk about whatever your heart's desire? There's no holds barred on my channel. There's no words barred on my channel. You can say whatever you want that you don't feel like saying on your channel, because I'm here for all the smoke.
Oh, it's not.
Shouts out to the E-Man who has joined us, who I guess we're going to get his critical review on the movie as well. Now, remind you, ladies and gentlemen, he is a professional critic. Damn, man, we got another one joining. We got J Mo in the building. Kato, be on.
Yeah, but like I was saying,
what's up, everybody?
How you doing, sir?
What's going on, man?
What's good? What's good?
What's up? But like I was saying, man, like I was saying on my channel how this was just kind of forced and unnecessary. And, you know, some people are just replying, hey, Brandon, you know, all sequels are unnecessary. We don't have to have one. It's for your entertainment. No, it's just unnecessary because they just didn't have a story to tell. I mean, you just showed that clip. It was a great clip. But when they tried to repeat this in the second, it just didn't flow as well. I mean, it was just put in just to be put in, just, you know, as like a meta joke or just as a callback. You know, it did not have any substance to tell the story. There was no point to it, you know, just to reminisce on the past. And that can work sometime, but it just, you know, it doesn't work all the time. There was no point for Peaches and them to pop back up, you know, other than like, oh, I remember them. You know, don't put it in the movie. I mean, if you're gonna have a sequel, I mean, they have a sequel, but actually have a story that's worth telling. And they didn't have a story, and because they didn't have a story, you know, half of this movie was just random cameos forced in. And you know, when you do that, you don't have a good product. I'm finna jump off. I'm not jump off, but pass to somebody else. But the whole thing with the lion, the CGI lion.
Oh my god!
With their farting, there was nothing like that in the first film. Nothing at all. I mean, who decided to put that goofy shit in this movie?
Man,
you know, it was no. I mean, we want sequels because we want more of what came from before. We want the next chapter. You know, from what came before. We want to see the story progress. You know, kind of the same tone. So I don't know why they had that shift like that. You know, in the sequel, but it just didn't work. It's not a trash movie, but it's not a good movie either.
You sure?
Well, we'll let big dogs go ahead and speak on it. My brother E-Man, like I said, no holds barred, no words barred. You can say whatever the hell you want to say on my channel that you wouldn't say on your channel, because I'm here for all the arrow smoke they might throw at us. And by the way, we've got 131 people watching this video.
Opportunities. E-Man, before you get started, can I just say this is one of those opportunities where we might actually be in complete agreement about something.
100%, yeah.
But E-Man, I want you to give your perspective. But now we've got 150 people watching us. Please be sure to hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't. Everybody that you see on this panel, link is in video description. They put out excellent content. I watch all their channels and I super chat them. And y'all know how tight I am with a penny. I'll pinch that penny to that bitch catch a nosebleed. But I shares my money with these brothers. E-Man, tell us what you thought about Coming to America 2 and how sad was you when you had to watch it?
I mean, okay, so first of all, let me just say, like, I purposely did not review this movie on my channel. And I knew, I know this was going to be like a good opportunity to do it. You know, people was talking about it. There was a lot of hype. But one of the reasons I don't review comedies is because people have different sensibilities that can be so vastly different when it comes to the even more subjective nature of comedies or what's funny to them. Some like lowbrow comedies, some like dark humor, some like the more intellectual dry humor. It's kind of like saying what's better, turkey or ham. So for me, I found Coming to America, I found the writing to be incredibly formulaic. It's kind of like a comedian who tries to tell a joke in a certain way, but you already know the punchline. And because, the delivery isn't well crafted, the joke isn't that funny. The best comedians and the best comedies, they find a way to kind of hide the punchlines to catch you by surprise. And I don't think this movie did that because the writers just weren't that good. As for the rest of the premise of the story, I mean, it did very little except modernize the old movie. It was a rehash of sorts. I mean, I'm not saying that things weren't good, but they could have been executed better by a better writing staff and a better director. So like even the actors, like the son in the story, did nothing for me.
Nothing.
Personally, I don't even, they should have given me more Kiki Layne. To be honest, I would have taken way more of her and have the story revolve around her instead of whoever this dude was.
I agree.
Personally, I'm not the biggest Leslie Jones fan. I feel like she's just a bigger, blacker version of Melissa McCarthy with the physical comedy and stuff. It doesn't do it for me. I understand the loud, obnoxious characters might do it for other people, and that's cool for them, but not for me. Wesley Snipes, I felt like he was locked in thinking that he was still shooting Dolomite, because what are you doing? Like, what is with that sly pimp walk and you in Africa? Like, what are you doing? It was one of those things where it looked like, the cast was having more fun making the movie than I was having watching the movie. Like I wish I was behind the scenes with them so I could have a good time, but the cameos, the tributes, they were awesome. I love what they did for James James Earl Jones. I thought that was just amazing, especially just to celebrate the legends while they're here. I thought that was a really cool meta thing that they did. But outside of that, like, this movie didn't really have a lot of purpose to exist. And let me kind of be clear, I'm not knocking anyone for liking the movie. What I'm saying is, like, this is different strokes type of deal, for different folks. But I'm not going to go out of my way to bash it, officially. If people ask my opinion like you have today, I will let you know how I feel. You know, I'm not going to go use and leverage my power as a critic on Rotten Tomatoes and on my platform to go tear it down, because I still want people should enjoy themselves if that's what floats their boat. And one last point, you know, I'm sorry, I'm going on a tirade with this, but one last point, just so that we can understand technically, and this is the backup B. Avery's point, when people talk about, like, you know, the necessity of a sequel. No sequels are necessary. No movies are necessary if we got to go down that road. But one thing that is necessary for a sequel is to progress the franchise. And the perfect example that you can use is Friday and Next Friday. Next Friday picked up the baton where Friday left off. It progressed the story. It was a natural flow. And the comedy was so original in the second one, it didn't need to copy anything from the first one. That's how you know you have a good sequel. Another very basic way to know if you have a great sequel, and I don't think this is going to happen with this movie, there's nothing classic in this film that people are going to be reciting in the next couple of years. Ain't nobody finna be saying, like, well, if his mama called him Clay, we gonna call him Clay. Like, nobody's gonna be saying that from this movie. Nobody's going to be reciting any real jokes or lines from this movie. And that is why I'm saying it does not, I don't know the necessity of it. It really didn't fit the function of a comedy outside of just being a temporary laugh or a chuckle at best. Right. So sorry, if it's just the nostalgia and if it's just the cameos that you wanted, yo, real talk, if you wanted a reunion show, just say that. Just say that. Just make a reunion, you know, event, kind of like what Fresh Prince did on HBO Max. They just brought everybody back. We had all our memories. We had our fun. And that was cool. Hey, I was feeling that. I had my tears in my eyes too. But this movie should have just done that. It should have just been a reunion special. But that's just my take.
Feel you. Now we're going to move on to my boy Jay Moore, and then we'll chop it up after this. Now, Jay Moore, there was one thing I was disappointed that I didn't see, that I feel like there was no excuse for not having this. With Coming to America, when it first dropped, that was our first Wakanda or Black Panther, because those outfits was amazing in the first Coming to America, and the outfits that we saw in Black Panther was amazing. You went from all that to this shit right here. Man.
Hey, you know that's Ruth Carter, too.
I know who it is.
That's Ruth Carter, too.
I actually liked it.
I liked it. I actually liked the wardrobe. I'm not gonna lie.
I wasn't feeling the wardrobe. I wanted something a little bit more iconic. But you know, that's me.
The first one, they had that big dance opening scene too. That was really big. They didn't have that. It was in a smaller place. Rick Ross house was big, but it wasn't as big of a place where they had that opening scene with the dance, and then they had the headdress and everybody.
Yeah,
exactly.
So it didn't stand out larger than life. You know what I
mean? And did you catch your boy Rotimi with that messed up dread? That was your boy Rotimi, J Mo.
They threw everybody in there.
He was another person that they didn't utilize in the movie. Not saying that he could have made a big difference, but what did Luenell say in the movie? I don't think she said nothing, did she? That's Luenell. I know she could have said something. You know,
she had a line
you didn't use Luenell.
They used Luenell.
You use Rotimi. You ain't used, who else they ain't used? 3-4, Michael Blackson.
They needed more of him.
Funnier than what they had him say in the damn movie.
Yeah.
I think Michael Blackson should have played the role that
of the son.
You know what I'm saying? What? So, you know what I'm saying? And like what E-Man was just saying, it's not as many classic lines as the first movie. And it is one classic line, though. And I'm not a big Leslie Jones fan, but she was funny in this movie. She said, I got some pumpkin pie. She had that candle and started fanning that pumpkin pie. I'm about to give you a whole slice. That made me laugh. It was gross, but it was funny.
You sure that's pumpkin pie she got down there?
No, I didn't. But it was funny seeing her try to offer it and what she had to do to get somebody to try some of that, you know, white only pie.
Oh my God. Here you go.
White only pie.
Oh, here you go.
From life. But you know, it was more if I've been thinking about it, like I saw the first one at the movies. You know what I mean? I love the first movie so much. So it's hard. I gotta like fight myself. You know what I mean? To be real, because I like the jokes. I done said all the jokes a million times. So it was good to hear and see, but at the same time, it was more like a remake. It wasn't a sequel. And some people trying to tell me, oh, this is like Black Panther 2. This ain't no damn Black Panther 2.
What?
They talk about he Killmonger. He ain't no damn Killmonger. All right.
Oh, wow. Man.
They was reaching.
Somebody said they waiting on. Like I'm waiting on the Snyder cut of this film. God,
Snyder cut.
Hey, you know what though? Hey, you know what?
A little better.
I heard because one of my friends actually works for the studios and he does like the testing and stuff like that. I heard that there was a lot of bonus stuff that they cut from this. That when I was hearing the description, I was like, that would have been way better. So I don't know if they're going to drop like a bonus feature or whatever, but I got the feeling that the extras are probably going to be pretty dope.
Yeah. I'll never know, because if they drop a new cut, I'm not watching that garbage.
Yeah.
I mean,
I have no interest in watching any more of this.
Like, it's really hard to have a story. Like, what it don't is. That's why the movie didn't do well, kind of, as far as story-wise, because it's hard to come up with a sequel story, like E-Man was saying, to progress it, like Friday to next Friday. It was a progression. They were moving on. Where can the king, he the prince, he can be the king. He married already. What? So his son, but he still, he don't have a, I mean, it didn't work out right.
Exactly.
And, you know, it was good to hear and see some of the same jokes. He beat Joe Louis's ass. That Meshuggah, that Conor McGregor, he beat that Conor McGregor. What is it, velvet? But at the same time, we done heard that already. But I still laugh. But I can't say I'm going to give it more than a 6 or a 6.5 at best.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I really can't. You know, and like you say, Peaches, like, it was good to see him, but, like, they fit in the story the first time. They ain't fit really at the end.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
And it's more the reason why they shouldn't have. Yeah.
I got sexual chocolate with me.
Oh, my Lord, have mercy.
I like Eddie in costume. Eddie looked funny.
Yeah.
But, man, it was kind of hard. It wasn't a real sequel. It was more of a remake to me than anything. And when you remaking such a classic movie, it's hard. And then, you know, he had better talent really on the first one with John Landis directing. And, you know, he utilized everybody in the movie. Like, where was Soul Glow? At least I would have liked to see nobody wore Soul Glow no more, and now he broke or something more.
Yeah.
You could have had some wave gel or something.
You know,
somebody could have done something.
You brought back Peaches, but you ain't bring back Soul Glow.
Well, maybe Soul Glow.
He was funny in the front. Hey, I'm washing lettuce.
Yeah.
I'll be on fries. And that's when the big bucks start rolling in. Like,
yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Now he at McDonald's sucking down the shake, and then that was it. What? He could have been like, hey, the big bucks been rolling in for years. Or say something, you know what I mean? Something to the effect progressive or so, I don't know. They moved
but you hit the nail on the head right there, man. And
but you know, they didn't. Go ahead, B.
No, you got it, man.
I was just going to say, they didn't bring, like, when they brought all these things in, they were just really gimmicky. They didn't weave them into the story in any meaningful way. They were just sort of, it was like they just parachuted these things in, and it was just really, really bad. Like, and I still, like I said before, I still had a problem with the whole rape scene in the beginning of the movie, setting this whole thing up with this bastard child. They could have simply changed that with one simple line. They could have just simply have said, you know what? We went out, Simi got him drunk, and he had sex with a girl that, you know, that maybe he wouldn't have wanted to. Or maybe he had sex with maybe he just had a one-night stand, and You know, maybe he didn't have to be. Maybe he just had a one night stand. He left, and he never knew the girl anymore. Maybe he didn't catch her name, or maybe she gave him his phone number, and it blew away in the wind or something, and he lost it, and he lost track of her, and he didn't know he had a kid. Anything. I mean,
let's be real. If this had happened, if the roles were reversed, this whole movie would have been canceled. This movie would have been canceled. You can rape guys, but you can't rape women.
That's crazy.
I mean, consent goes both ways.
And the fact that they use
so a man raping another man, that's somebody forcing into you. But if a woman is on a man, you have to be aroused. So that's why you can't necessarily say it was rape.
Nah,
you can't.
It's about consent. It's about consent.
My mind. You just said that.
Nah.
And the fact that they used a hog like a wild animal to try to force it in, I mean, that's just like pathetic writing. I mean,
it's really it's dated writing. Like that stuff would have worked in the 90s. I don't think it was rape. It would have worked in the 90s or something when we were less like aware of these type of things. But now, now that you want to drop that just lets me know that they never updated this. They never looked at this. They was just like, yo, we've been working on this for years, and we just gonna roll it out the way it is.
What it tells me is Eddie hasn't updated. Eddie needs to take his ass and go on the road with some young comics and get himself back together as a funny man. Because all this said is the same bullshit he was doing in 1990 is what he thinks is still funny today, and it simply is not.
Yep, that's it. That's it. That's the problem right there. It's Kenya Barris, because you could sell
everybody when they get comfortable. Whether you a
Kenya Barris,
a rapper, whatever. Once you get comfy, it's hard to have that fire and keep going.
No, that ain't true. Look at Dave Chappelle. Dave Chappelle took a whole decade.
For damn near 15 years.
I mean, he went comfy, but I'm saying he came back, sharpened up his tools.
For a long time. He had to live on the farm in Ohio.
I mean, he went back to the motherland first. he had to get back to the roots.
I mean, if Eddie doesn't have it anymore, he doesn't have the drive to be funny anymore, then stop trying to be funny. Go make the Truman Show or something and just give it up and start and just go make drama. Stop trying to be funny when you don't want to put the work in. There's a lot of funny comics out there willing to put that work in.
I mean, I still think it's funny. I just think that he failed because he had restrictions on this movie because of the rating.
Whole new cast, and it actually have been funny.
You think the rating held it back?
Yeah, I think the rating held it back too. I mean, this was PG-13 opposed to being rated R. And you can always get away. There was so much more that you can get away with in 1988. That you can't get away with today. Another example, just stuff that doesn't fly today, is like if you go back and you look at the first Ace Ventura movie with Jim Carrey, you cannot get away with half those jokes. The main plot was like he was trying to wash his mouth out with bleach, like I do, because he kissed a man. You can't do that today. You'll be thrown all the way under the bus. And so
what you're saying is these comics are really not that funny. They're just good at being inoffensive, because real funny people evolve and can change. You can look at what Kevin Hart was doing 10 years ago, and he was doing that same kind of humor, and dude is still funny today, and he just evolved.
Part of being
Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart's still funny today.
No, it's not.
Hold on. Time out.
I gotta make this point.
Fellas, we just got a new person in on the screen. Time out.
I gotta make this point.
Fellas, we just got a new person in on the screen. Somebody need to turn down their TV.
Yeah, what's up?
It's because I'm watching it. Sorry, my bad.
Okay.
Turn us off.
Yeah. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, back by your demand, all 230 of y'all that's in this stream, by the way,
bonnetless at that.
Sharonda has popped in. She's popped in, and Sharonda, we want to hear your take on this conversation about Coming to America 2.
She in this.
Let me tell y'all something. Okay?
Oh boy, she clapping.
She clapping. It's done.
Clapping.
It's done.
Lord.
It's done.
First of all, okay, Kenya Barris needs to be stopped at all costs. Okay? He needs to stop.
Yes.
This ain't got nothing to do with Eddie. This ain't got nothing to do with when it came out. Kenya Barris has been tanking black content, okay? Since
the irony. Oh my gosh, the irony.
He can stay and do his brownish and mixes and blackish, but just leave black stuff alone. It's like, just leave it alone. And also, too, let's just keep it real. There's no funny comedians in today's age as it was back in the 80s and the 90s. They're not that funny. And you know, it's interesting because I was in this clubhouse and with Monique, and somebody had asked her about about the comedians now, you know, they're becoming big off of Instagram and stuff like that. And she was asking them about the longevity behind that. And it was like, they have gimmicks, right? They have characters that they play, they have gimmicks, but that doesn't translate to being a comedian. That doesn't translate into being a great stand-up comic. That is just their gimmick that they have that is funny. That is a character that they play that is funny. And I just think that I understand they wanted to bring in new blood, but we have to stop trying to have to make things digestible for a new generation, because a lot of us, like, Coming to America came out a year after I was born, and I watched it years later, and I still found it funny. Like, everybody doesn't have to keep changing or converting to the new times, or I got to have all this new blood in it to get people to watch it, because to be honest, that's what led to the detriment of Coming to America. It's too many sequels. It's too many people that actually are not funny because they're not funny. Yep. And the whole thing with Larry, I agree. Why does Leslie Jones have to keep being this woman in heat that's ready to pounce on any penis that comes her way to the point where she has to rape somebody to get some dick? That don't make sense. It's not funny. And honestly, the idea that they had before,
rape, y'all, man.
That is when you're drugging someone, you drug someone to have. He didn't want to have sex with you when he was sober.
Everybody drink and smoke weed.
She got him. He didn't do drugs. She literally got him high to get him to have sex with her.
Stuff in his drink, like, here you go, Eddie. I want you, Eddie.
No, she drugged him and raped him.
Literally got on top of him and took that shit.
She didn't drug him. She gave him the drink. He said he was drinking with her.
Did he consent to the sex?
She took a puff of that stuff and she blew it in his face and drugged
sex, man. I ain't never had sex with a woman, and she said,
do
you consent to putting the PP into?
So you never been raped? That's fantastic, but he got raped.
He got raped though.
But it's never funny trying to make it seem, especially.
I can't even believe we're having a debate about the fact that she was raped. That she raped her. I can't believe it's an actual debate.
Halfway and take the rape out of it. I'm tired of black people trying to make it seem like black women gotta beg some nigga to have sex with them, or to, like, that's not okay. That's not funny no more. That's not funny.
Yeah, it may not be
Leslie
funny.
is better than that.
She's better than thirsty, desperate, all of that. I agree. I just don't say the rape part.
No, she did rape him, but I'm just going to meet you halfway and take that off the table for now.
And I don't know why she was
halfway when it comes to rape. Fuck that.
I don't know.
Halfway when it comes to rape. That shit was foul. That shit killed the whole vibe of the movie. I couldn't enjoy the movie.
I don't know why she was okay with it anyway.
I cannot get down with rape. That shit was horrible. Like, they could have said that was late. They could have changed it with just a simple line of, I had a one night stand and I lost touch with the woman. That's it.
And not one DNA test. They wasted an opportunity to bring Maury in. I was like, y'all couldn't even at least bring Maury in this. At least you just gonna be like, oh, I got a kid. First of all, don't nobody believe it, man. Whatever. I'm sorry, I thought too much. I was thinking too much.
No, that's a good point.
Really?
No, that's a good point. Ain't nobody about to give the keys to the kingdom off of a
literally though. Literally.
Okay, you're right. I'm gonna take your word for it, Big Ugly.
And I think Leslie's funny when she was paired with Shari. Like, when they were like having two girls, y'all could honestly, this movie didn't even need the whole son component. It could have just been about them trying to change the rules so Kiki Lane could be, the next person in power. Yes. And if they weren't going to bring back Patrice, then Leslie Jones could have been her cousin from New York that came to visit to help her realize, like, nah, sis, you need to tear this whole patriarchy down. It could have been on some stuff like that because they were funny together.
Yep.
Yeah, I can see that.
No, I'll tell you what was terrible about that is that because this whole movie was set up on the premise of a rape. There's no way in fucking holy hell that someone's gonna get raped. They're gonna go over there and become fucking best friends with the person that raped your spouse and become drinking buddies. Some nigga raped my wife. I'm not drinking with you.
That's a
You're
woman,
putting two
though.
fucking
A
slugs
woman
in your
can
head.
force-
That's some bullshit. I hate that. I hate
But it
that
was
with a
before they
passion
met
that you
him.
don't
It was before they
understand.
met.
No, man.
She knew
That's
she
not
knew
no
that she
excuse.
raped
When
him,
you hear
and then
about
and
man
then she
rape-
gonna blame Eddie for the rape on top of that. Come on, man, that's some
Y'all-
bullshit.
y'all, it ain't
But
no-
why?
You know what?
And my
I
thing,
think
my
nobody
thing is this:
agrees
is I
with
don't,
Toronto.
I don't
We need
under,
to stop being embarrassed. If that's the kind of
And-
bullshit he's on, we need to stop him.
and I
Yeah,
don't understand why she
that's
took the
not
role in the
You
first
took it
place
too far on
because
that one, man.
you know, she was attacked after her role in Ghostbusters, you know, about being the same thing. And Larry, you know, you called it like a wildebeest, and I think like in another video. So I don't know why she keeps
Oh my-
accepting this role
Larry,
because
for real?
she was
I didn't call her wildebeest. I say she keeps taking roles where she's acting like she's supposed to be some
Right,
kind of
right.
wildebeest.
right,
Well,
right.
what
But
it
I don't
is that
understand
they
why she
keep
keeps
giving
taking
her
the
those
roles because you know.
she's supposed to be portrayed as not that attractive, basically.
But why?
And
why
so,
I mean, but you don't have to
according
accept
to
that role, though.
society-
yeah,
You don't
I
have
mean,
to accept that though. Like
It's a
Gab,
movie with Eddie Murphy. I can see why she took the role, but
Right.
it's a movie with Eddie Murphy. I'm not.
it's a
saying it's
resume
right.
movie.
Like,
It's a resume.
yeah,
That
you
doesn't-
can say
you know what- you know what
But
this
she
is, though?
she can still speak up and say what she has.
Hey, I
she's
want a
objective
different
to.
role.
You know,
You
why
know,
do I have
maybe-
to come across like this? You know,
Yeah.
I mean, and she's the one. Like, I'm not trying to give these people an excuse that attacked her after Ghostbusters, but I don't know if y'all remember that in the press. But everybody came after her, accusing her of the same thing. So for her to, you know,
Do it again.
feed fuel to the fire and do it again, I just don't get it. That doesn't add up to me at all.
I
He has
actually
a
didn't
whole
mind her in
TV show. Everyone's
Ghostbusters.
getting paid.
Experience, when you complain a lot, they just find somebody else. What the hell? I ain't got to deal with that. You don't want the role? Fine. We'll get somebody else. And
So then
when
get
you
someone
keep
else. She's
complaining and known
a
to be
talented
somewhat
writer.
of a problem actor. Even Delroy Lindo spoke on this. They will stop looking for you for roles. It's not right. It's not fair. But that's
Cool.
the type of stuff that goes
Cool.
on. And
But
if
you're
people
Don't let
thinking
wanna
in a
that
know
way
she
what
came
to
from
write,
SNL.
There's
She
black
can't
people
write. She
involved in
came from
this.
SNL. She spent years honing her writing skills at SNL. Write your own shit. If they
Yeah, but
won't
you
give you
need
the roles
somebody
you
else to
deserve, then
produce it,
write
though.
your own shit.
But you need somebody else to pay and produce it. And then you're going to have to put it on somebody else's network. And if they don't want to be bothered with your ass, they will black. Look at Monique. You tell
Nah,
me
let's not look at no. Not
That's
Monique.
a different story.
That's a whole nother story.
Been blacklisted somewhat because she was complaining and speaking out, whether it was fair or unfair. Now we barely get to see her, and she has the talent to still be doing her thing. It's not fair, but that's the way it is. It's not like a regular 9 to 5 at UPS, and you can go complain that they won't hire me or they won't do that. Who are you gonna talk to?
I mean,
I don't have to put you in my movie. I don't have to take your writing sample. I don't have to executive produce.
What
your
Robert
stuff.
Townsend said, there's always work at the post office.
Everybody
Look,
don't want to do that.
yes and
though.
no, yes and no. Denzel has a famous story about how he could have been the nigga that they can't kill, you know, and he was talking about how they wanted to make him this one character, and he was just like, no, because he learned from Sidney Poitier, you know, that like, yo, you take this role, they're going to keep putting you in there, and it depends on when you finally take a stand and say, hey, I'm not being, you know, thug number 3. I'm not being loud black girl number 1. You know, I'm going to be this. And if you don't like it, cool. I'll go do some other stuff, some smaller
But
films.
Denzel is a
whatever.
black man, and she is a woman.
That is true.
But that's
That
the
is
same
true.
thing.
That
Everyone
is
got
true,
on
too.
Monique about speaking her mind because she was a woman.
Right.
And she wasn't telling no lies. All these people, these white women who not as funny as her, these white men who not as funny as her, getting all this money,
Yeah.
and y'all don't pay her pennies.
Yeah.
So it is something like there is a hierarchy, and black people get treated like crap, and black women get treated like
Hold on, Larry.
Stop putting black
Wait,
women in
wait,
these
wait.
positions to have to play those roles.
Wait, hold on,
They didn't have to write that to put her
Wait,
in
hold on.
that.
I completely agree with you about the hierarchy. But if there's ever a place for a black woman to be heard, at least hopefully, it should be something where you got black writers in the room. You got people with star power like Eddie. I would hope. I'm just saying.
He doesn't even put dark skinned women in his stuff. Like, so why? Because Sumter's the only person he got ever on one of his shows. So for someone who has already been deemed colorist and he is writing this movie, that did not portray like you literally had a movie just focusing on having a woman rule after Akeem passed away. And you said, no, we're going to waste time, go back to America to find your bastard child that you didn't do no DNA test for. You just didn't even ask any questions as any regular man, black man would have asked, especially when you met the family. You definitely would have been asking questions. That just doesn't make sense to me. And it's clear, especially at how the women were treated in the film, that they didn't care.
Right.
And they tried it though. They tried it, but it didn't. It should have been the leading. I think it should have been the leading plot device. Like the whole point would be to like, yes, let's be more progressive and more open minded. But it felt like a secondary, subplot the entire time, and we were just distracted with this son that what was his name? Lionel, whatever. I don't even remember dude's name. Like,
I don't know his name.
I like him on his other show. I like him as an actor. But
Tommy Davidson, and it was Akeem's younger brother, and him and Oha came to the United States to try to sow his royal oats. And it was only made one episode. You can actually go on YouTube and find this Coming to America TV show.
Man, they wasted her. They wasted her.
Actually, Wesley Snipes, Tommy Davidson, and Marlon Wayans were the three up for the lead. And Eddie Murphy didn't support the project because a lot of people said he didn't kind of want that shine or whatever taken away. So also some of these people have egos that are, they, allegedly may or may not want certain people to do certain things or, have more shine or more funny moments or whatever, so, I mean, that's what is out there. Who knows?
What does everyone think about? Everyone keeps saying that there's this feminist agenda that they were pushing. I'm just like, women were barely in the movie, so where is everybody getting this like social justice?
I never heard that.
Beat over your head about it.
I think it was in the comments.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, I've gotten other comments on my video about it, and I'm like, women were barely in the movie. Like,
I thought they should have been pushed forward more.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you. They should have just went on ahead and let the older daughter just go ahead and take the throne from the jump.
She should have been the lead, in my opinion. Kiki should have been just the lead.
Before y'all got here, I said the only person I had emotional investments into this entire movie was the oldest daughter. Yeah, that was the only one. That was the only one that took me over in the movie.
I don't think I got emotionally attached to nobody, actually.
Same here. It was hard.
I just liked the jokes to see him again, but
his wife and his daughter was disrespectful.
Like you say,
his what?
Old man, you make
I
me
read
old.
Derek's comments about his wife and his daughter being disrespectful. How they be disrespectful? It's disrespectful but you would go find a bastard child in a whole nother country than make your own daughter that you raised since she was born the next heir. Like, what?
Yes, whoever put that comment ain't seen part one. Like in part one, that was supposed to be a homage to part one when him and Arsenio Hall was training. Instead of with him and Arsenio Hall, it showed that he passing the skills with the stick down to his daughters. They wasn't being disrespectful and ganging up on him.
No.
They wasn't trying to hurt him.
They tried to act like Akeem was soft in the first one for wanting to find love. So, like, it's about these societal standards that have been in place since the beginning of time that doesn't relate to where we are. It was the same thing with Akeem, and he wanted to marry for love instead of marrying being a part of an arranged marriage. And it was the same thing for this. If y'all really wanted a son, you could have just had a son, and it could have just been he was a younger son, and she was the firstborn child. Y'all could have still
that could have worked too.
It would have been fine.
Yep. And then they could have just put them together.
I'm curious to know what Africans think about this movie, because it seems like instead of a movie where they were trying to celebrate African culture, it seemed like a lot of it they were making fun of it.
I had a couple actually hit me up. They were mildly offended.
I bet
because they ain't no Africans hardly in the movie except for Mutombo and Blackson.
I mean,
not even beyond
those
that.
accents were trash.
Terrible enough,
Those accents
but it was
were
just
horrible.
a lot of making fun of the culture. Just the Wesley Snipes with this whole sort of warlord pimp strut he had. The
None of that
witch
made
doctor
sense.
eating the foreskins and all that. It just seemed like it was. It seemed like there was a lot of offensive stuff in there, making fun of the culture instead of celebrating it.
Did any of y'all find the shake weight funny or the Dance Revolution game? You know, like
Nah.
that's just another thing where I don't
I ain't
understand
gonna lie,
they
I
put
did
this in
love
there.
you laugh.
Okay.
Really?
I did love you laugh.
I mean, the thing about it,
Dance Revolution.
like, I mean, and I'm the silliest person in the world. I find stuff like that funny too, but it just didn't fit in this movie to me. Like, there was nothing like that in the first film, so I don't understand why they tried to bring it in the second.
I mean, my best friend is Nigerian and she loved it. So I was sitting there like, sis, you like this? And she was like, yeah. So I was like, okay, girl, I ain't gonna argue with you.
Now, before we change gears, I want to say this on behalf of my wife. What the hell was up with his airplane? My wife feel like they robbed that from Soul Plane. She did not like that airplane.
I told my son that was bad special effects because the landing gear was down. They basically filmed the plane on the ground, then blacked out everything and made it look like it was in the sky. But the
I don't even remember that.
You don't want to remember it. It was horrible. It was horrible.
Here's one thing, Lamont, that I would like to say about this is that I've seen a lot of people online up there talking about, oh, we need to celebrate this. This was an all-black production. It was black writers, black actors, black crew. It was even filmed in a black man's house. And I'm thinking to myself, we need to hide that fact. We need to keep that so far out of the public sphere because I'm thinking if I'm a black filmmaker looking to get financing and I'm going looking for funding, they're going to be like, this is the best that an all-black movie production can give me? Is that garbage? You give us some of the hottest stars out there and you give me this trash? I'm not giving you money for a movie.
The irony in all of this. If everybody, I don't know if everybody's seen Black AF on Netflix. Episode 5 by Kenya Barris literally talks about this, and it's an episode about him, having to critique another black filmmaker who's making crappy movies.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sitting here, I was like, bro, like, hey, pot kettle, like, this is you. Like, you must be talking about you.
I've never struggled so much watching a movie before. I had to watch this in 4 different parts. It was so boring.
This is one of the things. But this is the kind of thing I'm talking about, though. It's kind of like, we shouldn't, like, look, the most I will do is not go out of my way to bash it. That's my contribution to the black culture. I'm not gonna lie. I'll tell you what I feel, but I'm not gonna go out of my way. No, I'm just saying that's me. I'm not saying that's everybody else. I'm just saying that's for me. Everybody, but what I will say is that none of these black culture films, products, whatever, should be above reproach. We don't need to give these blind praises and celebrations just because it's black. I root for everything black, but that doesn't mean that I have to elevate everything that's bad also. So we have to kind of like be honest, because if we're not honest, it's never going to get better.
But here's the problem with that, though, because when we sit here and we keep supporting all these crazy films, this is why people like Kenya Barris gets these $100 and some $1 million deals. This is why he can make shows like Black as Fuck that most black people do not resonate with.
Right,
because the show was created to entertain white people on black culture.
Yep, because
that's the problem.
They love this movie.
I thought Black AF was actually funny.
I know.
thought that was a show that was made for black people. It was just made for a different type of black person. It was made for black people that grew up like him, and not for every black person.
That show was an enema. It was an enema.
Now look, y'all missed it when me and Larry was up here going at each other's throat because he was living by that, man. I was like, man, there's nothing funny about it. It was nothing.
It had moments, but it was.
I actually really enjoyed that.
Lamont,
I ain't like
nothing funny about Coming to America 2?
No.
Black AF.
Black AF.
Okay.
Black AF,
I actually enjoyed
it's just the title alone is just stupid. Like it's just.
It was supposed to be Black Excellence. That's the original title for Black AF, but whatever. Wow. But no, like exactly what Sharonda was saying. Mm-hmm. That's the problem of trying to blindly celebrate anything and everything, even when it has flaws, and we never get the opportunity to, like, you know, have iron sharpen iron. We should be, I'm not saying we should be our harshest critics, but we still need to keep it real. That is the one thing personally I love about Black culture, is the fact that we love and praise and respect authenticity. If we can't be authentic with ourselves, here's the other thing. It's okay to like a bad movie. We all like bad movies.
Right.
But the thing is, we can say it's a bad movie, but hey, I was still entertained. So, so I saw early in the comics, people were like, oh man, critics are so hard to, you know, please. No, listen, my job as a critic is to call out what I see and to dissect it in a different way. That doesn't mean I still can't be entertained by bad stuff. I just am able to call it also bad. And we have to be honest
about that though. But here's the thing. Here's my problem with that. And this is why my channel is called Pay Your Weight, okay? Because the only reason a lot of people like coming to America is because they got to sit their ass at home and watch their Amazon Prime that they didn't even know they had, but been paying for all these months. And they got to watch it. But if you spend money to go watch Coming to America in theaters, y'all would have been pissed.
It would have changed the expectation. It would have changed the expectation.
Exactly.
Yep.
Y'all people would have been mad. They'd have been like, I risked my life for this.
100%.
My life for this.
No, that is 110% all of it. The mere fact that you saw this probably on your cell phone at home on your couch when you wasn't paying attention.
You ain't got
that's why you had that. That's why you can accept this type of stuff and be like, oh, it was cool. No, it wasn't. Like, no, it wasn't.
If you had to spend a whole movie ticket, you would have been pissed.
Yep.
Some people would have walked out.
Up for this?
I would have walked out.
I think Eddie Murphy and them made it so bad on purpose so that they would never be asked to make another one of these movies. Because they didn't want to make this one in the first place, so they just ensured that no one would ask for another one.
I mean,
let me ask y'all this. In the circles that y'all are in, did more people like this movie or dislike it?
I had a people like it.
In my circle,
it's been mixed for me, but people disliked it for different reasons.
Right. It was more dislike in my circle than like.
Same here.
I'm more like they like it for different reasons, like Larry.
Right.
It's not they liked it like, oh, that was it. That was better. No, nobody's saying that. It's nostalgia, you know, had fun. I would get the CDs and see it's like a reunion almost. Or
and you ain't never watching it again after you done.
Ever. See? That's what I'm talking. You see how she coming in here with the high five? This is what I'm talking about. This ain't nothing classic. This ain't nothing that's gonna last.
You're never gonna watch this movie again.
Nobody's gonna recite any lines from this.
No. And what was missing to me, like the first film, you know, you had John Amos in there, you know, Mr. McDowell. You know, he was desperate to get his daughter to marry you know, Hakeem. But what I really did respect about his character is when his father, Joffrey, got out of pocket and called them like peasants. He was like, now hold on, Jack. You're not going to be talking to my daughters like that. You know, that was like a pure stand-up moment where you have a serious, you know, thing in a film that, you know, makes you back up a character. Yep. And it just across the board, it was nothing like that in the sequel at all. And that really bothers me. You know,
that was I mean, even though it was a comedy, there was still a running theme of class.
Exactly. Right.
You know, and we didn't see that because you saw how the Africans, the rich Africans, were looking down on like the African Americans and stuff. But it was kind of like a clash of like, no, you need to check yourself. No, you check yourself. You know, it was that inner dialogue that we hadn't seen like really.
And that's real shit,
man. Culture. And it's kind of like.
It was feminism in there too, since everybody mad. But there was feminism in that as well, since everybody
especially with Lisa.
And with Lisa, because she was basically running the business, and they only saw her fit to just marry somebody with money, so they can just build the family assets together. And that was the whole premise of her storyline. So
and she was the straight opposite.
Ruined it.
She was the straight opposite of the pick me. You know, that Hakeem left in Africa. So, yeah.
You said the pygmy?
Pick me.
Yeah, I got you.
In the WNBA with all that hopping on one leg, she'd be having.
She got one strong calf muscle.
Boy, don't let it kick you in the nards. It's a wrap. Okay?
Boy,
get the hell out. That was corny.
I tell you what, man. I didn't know that y'all could go this long on Coming to America, but man, y'all had some hot takes tonight. Larry, what you about to say?
I was gonna say when Coming to America came out, when I finished watching the movie, the original, I felt proud. When I left that, I was like, I felt proud as a black person. And after finished watching this, I felt embarrassed. I was ashamed. I was like, this is what they gave us. This is shameful. And I mean, in a time where people are really pitted against each other, I feel like this is a time when we really need to put out high quality content to show the world what we are capable of, and not this type of shucking and jiving.
Yeah, I mean, they were desperate. I mean, Arsenio Hall said that he didn't care what the script was. He just wanted to know if they was making it, and if so, you know, he was there. You know, I don't blame him for wanting to check, but at the same time, just you know, spice up the script a little bit. You know, don't just half-ass it.
Yeah, I'm with y'all. Now, can we talk about WandaVision before I have to go and take care of this 8-month-old tomorrow?
I was like, ain't it time for you to take over?
It's just about. It's just about. It's just about. But there was a deleted scene from WandaVision, ladies and gentlemen. And let me put up here what they had to say about it. Max Shakeman explained to Kevin Smith and Borderline that originally a subplot was filmed involving the twins, Monica, Darcy, and Ralph Boner, as they attempted to steal the Darkhold from Agatha Harkness' basement. It sounds like it would have teased more monstrous things in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, as the director confirmed that Agatha's rabbit, Scratchy, would have been revealed as a demon. Shouts out to B. Avery, because he thought that rabbit was going to be a demon. Shakeman also confirmed that the earlier tease about the aerospace engineer was purposefully included. Shouts out to me, because I said it. But a scene payoff, the reference was seemingly taken out when the audience began speculating about Reed Richards arriving to the show. However, the real person that we was talking about arriving was not Reed Richards, but this brother right here who is pimp slapping Captain Marvel and uppercutting the Hulk all at the same time. And his engineering ass is called the Blue Marvel. And here's the Marvel Ultimate Series where he's with Spectra, he's with Captain Marvel, and he's talking to Black Panther. He is just the damn man. Larry, I give it to you first. Would you have wanted to see that ending the way they described it?
Yeah, that sounds like it would have been dope. It sounds like maybe all of us should have shut our mouths a little bit.
Why are y'all falling for this? Why are y'all really gonna fall for the gimmicks? Y'all gonna be today. That's what y'all do.
I mean, it would have been nice. I mean, it's not gonna stop anybody from saying what they want to say and doing what they want to do. I mean, until Marvel starts cutting people checks, we're gonna keep on making money talking about stuff we want to talk about. So, you know,
I'm actually glad. I'm actually glad that they took it out.
You are? Why are you glad?
Because I think that they would have written themselves into a corner. You know, now that it's out, they have more options. You know, to go with. You know, coming in the future. Like I was telling y'all, I think either this morning or yesterday, I forgot to ask y'all like why Doctor Strange didn't pop up. That was disappointing to me that he didn't. But at the same time, I think it's best that he didn't. I'll be patient as long as when this movie comes out and they have a good explanation, then I'll be fine. You know, but if not, that is bad writing. But I just think that it's frustrating. We'll just have to be patient. But you know, I don't think they just wanted to write themselves in the corner and be stuck. You know, with what rules they set in this final episode.
Okay, E-Man, what you think?
I mean, I could, you know, first of all, I had suspicions over Senor Scratchy myself, as well. And, you know, like one thing I try to tell people, you know, as I try to be a little Marvel detective myself, one thing that is always important to remember is the fact that nothing is put into these $100 million products for nothing. Right. Nobody's going to take the time to write a line or direct a scene for nothing. Yes, something could be just an Easter egg. It could be a mild reference. It could be a joke. But the fact that, you know, they kept teasing the aerospace engineer and, oh, my friend's on the way. Hey, my friend will be here in an hour. Like, clearly that was something that was intentional and it was edited out later, you know, or whatever, for whatever reason. I'm a little disappointed to hear that Marvel would even react to fan theories after the product is done.
That's a good point.
That part bothers me because I like to believe that whatever they do is something that they believe in, that they are set with. And if people guess it, whatever. And if they don't guess it, again, whatever. Tell your story. But if you are reacting to fan theories this early, this late in the game in post-production, that to me is kind of like, I don't know. I smell a little weakness.
My rejection of that is, I think,
who's lying?
Who's
lying?
You think they're lying?
They're lying.
They do with these $100 million projects is on purpose, and they ain't about to change that because somebody said some shit on YouTube.
I would hope not.
Maybe because they're hearing how passionate everybody was. They wanted to make sure that
a lot of work into this stuff, and I ain't been around nothing like no Marvel project with $100 million and all these people, costume directors, cast and writers, comic. It's just too much to be trying to change because they saw a YouTube or somebody.
I hope that's the case. I hope that's the case.
Could it be because everybody was so? Could it be because everybody was so passionate about it? They wanted the first impression to be a home run, and just like, man, we didn't think this was going to be this big deal, this reveal, but
I don't think
since everybody's anticipating it, let's not reveal it right now. Let's try to make it that much better, so when it is revealed, it'll blow everybody away.
Somebody call on me. Call on me.
Sharonda.
Thank you. They're lying. They're lying. Okay?
Right.
They're lying. So you mean to tell me, out of all the other things that people have predicted, honey, you spoiled the whole thing about Evan Peters being on there. People said that Pietro was going to be on there. They guessed Agatha from like the first episode. They figured out who Agatha is. So you gonna mean to tell me that because people were already talking about Fantastic Four, and the only reason that people was talking about Fantastic Four was because y'all brought up Fantastic Four at Comic-Con. So anything that we were talking about is something that you already started the speculation on in the first place. So let me just call it what it is. Let me help y'all understand the truth. Let me open up your eyes, okay? People were upset about WandaVision because they were promised one type of show and they got a totally different other type of show where they introduced all these little plot lines, never tied anything up by the finale, and people felt very underwhelmed by the episode. And people were especially upset because for 4 weeks, y'all talked about this damn engineer that never came up. So once everyone was upset, as I knew they would be by the time we got to the finale, because unanswered questions, we took that out. So you mean to tell me you paid all these people this money for whoever you casted to be Marvel or to be Reed Richards? You paid them all this money and you just took it out? You just took it out? Who is believing that? Because I'm not.
Yeah, if they do take stuff out and change stuff, it's not because of people on YouTube or social media. It's because whatever they decided to do internally and stuff. You know,
something else came up. Yeah,
you got a company that shoots stuff that literally shoots fake scenes to throw you off the track. You forget about all the fake scenes they shot for Endgame and put it in the trailer that never made it to the finished product. They really do this stuff on purpose.
They just do so much and just leave stuff on the cutting room floor.
Yeah, like I said, I hope they wouldn't do that because that'd be real whack of them to be sitting here bending to us.
They're not going to do that.
Fan theorists, like us. That I'd expect better. I'd expect better.
Watch the shows than watch the YouTube reviews and everything. You know what I mean?
For sure.
Most people that watch the movies and stuff, the majority that spent the $1 billion at the box office didn't go into YouTube afterwards and see what people say. You know what I mean? So majority of people that watch that stuff don't watch the YouTube stuff. It's only the real serious people that watch it, and they already gonna have a higher level of stuff and know stuff that other people don't anyway.
Now, whether
like
regardless,
this dude, I didn't even know who he was. Like he must have came into the comic world after I stopped reading comics, so I didn't know who the hell he was.
Lamont, when did Blue Marvel come? It was like 2000s, wasn't he?
He was late. He was late 2000s.
Yeah, that's why I say 2015.
No, he wasn't. It was like 2009, somewhere around there. During the Ultimates.
Yeah.
So I had no idea who that.
He wasn't gonna blow people away.
Marvel. I'm like, what?
Who's Blue Marvel?
Right. So
yeah, he wasn't gonna blow people away.
Like, I didn't know what to expect and knew that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So everybody don't read the comics. I read that stuff when I was younger, but you know, I didn't read it like that no more and stuff. So I didn't know.
Yeah. Now, I mean, the one thing I will say, regardless of whether they were intentional with this or not, whatever, I don't really care. The one thing that I do like is the fact that what this ended up doing, hopefully, moving forward, is actually shape our expectations, you know, from now on. When we see these upcoming, you know, Disney Plus, Marvel shows, we're not about to sit here and be like, oh man, they gotta introduce this big, huge concept.
Yeah,
no,
but you're doing that. Y'all still gonna be theorizing. Y'all gonna be making up all this stuff. Hold
on. Not me. Because even though I do my theories, at the end of every theory, I tell people it's just a theory. Have fun with it. Don't put no weight on it. You can theorize and speculate, but don't count on these things because that's how you get disappointed. Not you, Sharonda, but I'm just saying that's how people.
I gave up on theorizing.
I know. But you know what I'm saying? Like it's one of those things where it's kind of like now people can just go into Falcon and Winter Soldier. You can go into She-Hulk. You can go into whatever, Ms. Marvel. I don't know, whatever's coming up. And don't be sitting here thinking like, oh man, they about to bring in mutants. Oh man, we doing the multiverse. Oh man, we doing like chill. They're gonna tell the story.
But they brought it up. But you gotta blame Marvel. Like this goes back to I was just having
where are we blaming Marvel? What do you mean?
Marvel brought up the multiverse. When I was sitting in Hall H, that's when they said that the multiverse was coming up. That's when they said that WandaVision ties directly into Doctor Strange, which has the multiverse in the title. So they started all of this speculation that everybody had. But I think it comes back to what, like, do you remember, like, just going to the movie theater and being shocked by niggas just showing up in comic book movies? Do you remember when you were just sitting there and niggas disappeared? But you have to blame Marvel for putting all this stuff out. They showed half of Black Panther. So they didn't put half of Black Panther out before it came out. How many clips of Black Panther did they put the whole casino scene? They put the whole car chase scene out there. They put a lot of clips of Black Panther out before it actually hit theaters.
Yeah, E-Man, I'm with her on this one.
No, hold on. Let me respond to that first. Before
go ahead.
You should have put spoiler alert. No, don't get on YouTube.
Hey, E-Man.
But it's a trailer.
Hold on. E-Man, before you say what you have to say.
All right.
Hold on, E-Man, before you say what you have to say, I just have to say, because you guys brought up Black Panther, I just have to remind everybody that Killmonger is the true and rightful ruler of Wakanda.
All right, man. All right, thanks, Larry. All right, thanks. Look, the reason why I'm not about to sit here and blame Marvel is because, first of all, we're 10 years deep into this game. This is not like 2009, 2010. All I'm saying is Marvel has trolled us before. They've shown us more things before. It is still up to us at this point. I'm just saying, after 10 plus years, when are we going to get it to wait? Let the stories be told and wait for things to be confirmed so that way we're not letting ourselves get disappointed. So I'm just saying, after a decade,
but they literally give away surprises. You don't think we would have wanted to be surprised in Infinity War when they fight in Wakanda?
See, I was surprised.
We wanted that to be a surprise?
I mean, I wasn't necessarily saying it was giving it away.
I'm a proponent of only watching the first trailer because Marvel has a terrible reputation of when you get to the second and third and them little bonus 30-second clips, they show you way too much. Like in what was it, Ant-Man? Remember Ant-Man when Falcon showed up and he was supposed to be a surprise cameo? They showed him in the third.
But it was still misleading. It was still misleading because people were upset because y'all made it seem like it was going to be this whole set piece in Wakanda, and they was in there for 5 minutes in a 2.5-hour movie.
I mean,
hey Lamont,
not to mention,
watch the first trailer.
Okay,
that's all I can tell people. Watch the first trailer, and that's it. Don't do
the
rest.
Last comment you showed, I got something to say on that. If they don't know why it was that way,
what was
this one?
Quicksilver and the same actor. Well, the guy that played the Quicksilver in Ultron is the same actor from Kick-Ass, Aaron Taylor Johnson. Yep. And him and the lady that played what's her name? Wanda. I can't think of her name right
Elizabeth
now.
Olsen.
There you go. They are good friends in real life, and they work together on Godzilla. And so she got the role for Ultron, and she talked him into doing it. So they did it together. He didn't want to do the movie, and so he only wanted to do one movie. He didn't want to do no more. And then also you got to think about Fox Studios was separate and had the rights to X-Men, and then Marvel had the Avengers, and when Disney bought both of them, now they can use X-Men and Avengers in the same thing. That's why you never saw Wolverine and none of the X-Men inside of the Avengers movies and vice versa, because the rights, business, that's why it's called entertainment business. The business wouldn't allow the stories to go together. And so now, since they can't get the same guy because he's supposedly dead, but then, they done went back in time and did this and that and changed this and that or whatever and try to do a little magic, sprinkle a little dust on it and say, all right, well, this is this guy. And so they trying to find a way to bridge the gap and keep that character, which is why they didn't call him Quicksilver in Ultron. They just could call him Pietro, because the rights to the name Quicksilver was owned by Fox. And that's
also
why they call him Quicksilver.
That's why they call her Scarlet Witch. But so we just gonna rewrite everybody's powers now that you have all the X-Men characters? We just gonna rewrite everybody's powers? Because Scarlet Witch has a whole new set of powers. She has a whole new set of powers than what she had in all the previous films.
And in all the previous films, she was still the strongest Avenger.
Yeah, she was.
That's the sad part.
Yeah.
What's that?
In all the previous films, she was still the strongest Avenger, other than Captain Marvel.
But she ain't do shit. She ain't do nothing. She ain't do nothing in all the movies.
Wait a minute. She picked up Thanos and started stripping them down. And then
what did Okoye say? She was like, "Bish, where the hell you been for the past 10 years? Where have you been? Where you been?"
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is a good place for me to end this thing. Good Lord. I got to end it here. Be sure to subscribe to everybody's channel. All their links are in the description. And if you go to the section of my video that has suggested channels, you'll find every one of these pretty African-American faces plastered up there on my board for all my 125,000 subscribers to hopefully jump ship and join them. But stick with me too. And that's going to do it for this video. Don't forget to like the video, comment, subscribe. Me and Larry and whoever else decides to show up because of this carnage, we'll be back Wednesday night at 9 p.m. And we'll let you guys get out of here at 9:45-ish so that you can go and watch your dear Snowfall. And until the next Sex is Hell video, support Black critics. Oh, wait a minute before we go. Let me give this brother a shout out.
Jimmy,
I appreciate the sticker, brother. I know you was thoroughly entertained. You put more comments in here than anybody in the history of my live chat, and I'm grateful. I'm grateful. But we'll see you guys on Wednesday.
Wash your hands.
Peace.